This is the Daily Crowdsource. I'm David. We're talking with Rob Vandenberg, CEO of Lingotek, and a strong influencer in online translating, crowdsourcing, and collaboration. Thanks for talking with us, Rob. Can you briefly give us Lingotek 101?
Sure, David. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Lingotek is a web-based collaborative translation platform. Sort of a mouthful, but we're a software product that you can access via the web to take in content, perform translation, and push it back into whatever content publishing system you have. So Lingotek is all about providing resources to content owners that want to reach a broader audience in more markets and more languages. We facilitate very fast, rapid, trusted translations by enabling your community to access content within the Lingotek system to translate, leveraging tools like machine translation, translation memory, terminology, all these great resources, and the ability to translate a lot of this user-generated or community-generated content into more languages.
Now, I understand one of your clients is Novell. Can you tell us what you're doing with them?
Sure. Novell is an interesting company. They have, sort of a stalwart in the software space, and they do an active job of engaging their community on the Cool Solutions website. So they're running their Cool Solutions website on Drupal, and Lingotek has developed and provided to Novell a module to drop into their Drupal implementation to access Lingotek's collaborative translation platform. The objective here is to enable the Cool Solutions community to translate a lot of content into more languages. And so a lot of times the community is generating their own content on the website, the ability for them to now specify which content they think is important and to translate it at a quality they think is relevant. So I'll give you an example. I think there's about 100,000, 50 to 100,000 folks on the Cool Solutions community. And so when they're reading content in the community, there's going to be a Lingotek chevron or icon. They can click and they can choose various translation qualities. They can say, we want to run a machine translation on this page, see this page in Chinese. They can then say, okay, we're going to go ahead and post-edit or improve that Chinese through the Lingotek translation workbench and click save. The next person that comes in that wants to see the page in Chinese will see the last iteration of the translation. All the while, Lingotek is keeping score, who's contributing. There's leaderboards, scoreboards, ability for the community to review and vote on these translations. So what Novell really wants to accomplish from a business perspective is the ability to engage their community, provide them something to do in the community website, provide access to the best answers or the best content into more languages, all the while keeping score and incentivizing the folks that are participating in the translation process.
And what size are the businesses that can benefit from Lingotek?
There are all sorts of sizes, and it's a great question. Translation is a big space. It's about a $15 billion industry, and it's across verticals. Anybody who has content, anybody who wants to access more markets, more regions of the world. Really, language is a key barrier to expansion for a lot of companies. And so, we see this at work in nonprofits. The high-tech space has been a hot market for us, simply because they have often a software product that's easy to distribute via the internet and are more amenable to sort of adopting these really new collaborative community or crowdsourcing type models. But we see this with healthcare, we see this with hard goods, all sorts of industries can leverage our kind of solution.
And can you break down a typical workflow? How is a translation carried out?
Sure. So let's say, for example, Adobe is one of our long-standing clients, and what they've done is they have implemented the idea of translation clubs in their 650 product user groups around the world. So we have this Lingotek Inside strategy, which means that we're trying to bring this full suite or platform of translation tools to the content and to these different websites that are hosting these product user groups. And so within that website, the community can say, we're interested in this content, we'd like to participate in the translation process. They click, they either join the club, and then they're able to access content. They are able to select what content they feel is valuable. It might be flex documentation, InDesign, you name it, whatever they feel they're personally interested in. they can participate in that translation process. So that means they click on a project, they open up a document to translate, they're presented a workbench. That workbench renders the source content on a segment-by-segment basis. They're able to have a target pane or window where they type in what they feel is the correct translation of that. All the while they have this set of resources that are available to them. Machine translation, that's the real-time, fully automated translation. Oftentimes it's a bit of a meat grinder, so you get mostly right, but you have to clean it up. Yeah. Then there's previous translation memories, which are human-generated. Somebody's actually done this translation and sort of it sees this original source sentence and says, hey, guess what? This has been translated in the past. Would you like to see how somebody else translated it? And it automatically displays that. And you can choose to drop that in and use that previous translation to make your translations more consistent, done a little bit more quickly and more consistent across the full suite of content. So as that's going through sentence by sentence, the content owner can say, okay, one translation and we're done, or it can say one translation and one review, and it could be sort of chunked out. So different folks in the community can do one paragraph, all the while leapfrogging each other and doing the next paragraph, and then maybe somebody comes in later and does a review.
Now, I understand Lingotek is working with some of the top government agencies. Can you tell us more about that? What agencies is Lingotek working with?
Sure, I can tell you sort of at a high level what Lingotek does. Lingotek really got its real first commercial start working with the federal government. One of our investors is Incutel. They're the venture arm of the CIA. They really helped us advance the product to a point with a lot of investment in natural language processing, but to deal with the hundreds of language pairs out there. You go from English to Chinese or English to Spanish, et cetera, but if you have another original source language going into different languages, those are different language pairs. And so through that work, we've developed a lot of IP in our product to facilitate the main goal of the intelligence community, and that is monitoring a foreign stream of content, be it from foreign governments or corporations or individuals. And there's this ongoing process, as one could imagine, in the intelligence community to monitor what's happening, what's relevant from a security standpoint. And so Lingotek helps in that triage process, helps the folks do translation, perform that translation, capture those translations in translation memory for reuse by other folks in the intelligence community. And so at a high level, that's really what we're doing.
Okay, and are you able to see how this is increasing their efficiency?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not only is it an interesting platform in which for them to work, but it also allows for collaboration, allows for data sharing. One of the unique elements of Lingotek is even though we're a SaaS solution, and traditionally SaaS solutions are provisioned for individual accounts, et cetera, and we certainly do that and have high security standards, but there's the ability for different organizations, be it in the commercial world or the federal world, to share data. The collaboration piece is really a key differentiator how we approach that. And by that I mean they can share previous translation memories, split up the workload, if you will, saying, we're going to do some of the work, you're going to do some of the other work, and be able to split that out, and the system handles that elegantly. So there's definitely speed and quality and efficiency improvements.
And Lingotek just signed with Jive. What are you doing with them?
So one of the things we're doing with Jive, and Jive's a great company. We're very happy to be partnering with Jive. Sort of very much an up-and-coming company. But with the idea of social business software is really a great trend. We've seen sort of the idea of traditional enterprise productivity software. We've seen social networks. And really what Jive is doing is very much aligned with the vision and goal of Lingotek, which is social production. So the idea of productivity software bringing together social networks and saying, hey, we're getting a community together with affinity around a product, around content, around a topic, and allowing them to collaborate with each other. In our case, we're very focused on the collaboration around content and the translation of that content. So with Lingotek and Jive partnering together, what we're able to do is be an app in Jive's app store and drop into Jive's content and say, as a community, you can select which content you want to translate and sort of provide to other communities. Or community moderators can say, hey, here's an interesting discussion that's happening in the threads. Maybe this needs to be an article. Maybe it needs to be a white paper. As things get, elevated, if you will, there's probably a higher likelihood that this information could be shared across global communities. So Jive is a great sort of intersection for us to meet up with our commercial clients, meet up with their pre-existing communities, be it in high-tech developer networks or customer communities, and provide them tools to access the content they want to consume.
And what do big enterprises like Novell or the government need Lingotek for?
Well, I think that the idea here is that we're all in a sort of constrained financial environment, and with only some small subset of content designated to be translated, it doesn't satisfy the needs of foreign markets. And so, what you're providing these different places, be it in Vietnam or Turkey or in Russia, China, is you're saying we can designate which content we think is important, sort of shifting the control or hierarchy to the community. So the sort of corporate doesn't say, guess what? Guess how we're going to serve you, China? We're going to take 1,000 pages of documentation and translate it, and that's all you get. This provides these different markets to say, we care about this content. In fact, just give us the content in a digital format within a translation environment. We'll translate it, and they'll use it. They might be system integrators. They might be partners. They might be employees. They might be customers, but they're able to train their folks, use it for marketing, whatever they choose to do, but now they have control of what gets translated. They're also able to see in the process if they think it's good quality. Before, it was very much a black box. Content gets sent to an agency, and 30 days, 45 days later, it comes back at a cost of 21 cents per word, and guess what? You don't like it in a foreign market, you got it 3 months later, oh well, there's nothing you can do about it. Now they can actually be subject matter experts involved in the translation process, reviewing, sort of giving it their blessing, if you will, that it's the correct, on target type of translation.
And it kind of creates a better integration with your community too, correct?
Absolutely. We very much pitch this, in an ROI discussion of engaging the community and accessing, helping them designate what content gets translated. But, you hit on a key point that, I'm always happy when a customer says just what you said. They say, you know what? We want to engage with our market. I'm like, thank you. Finally, a customer that cares about their customers, that says, you want to give them tools. Some folks do it grudgingly, right? Some, commercial entities say, fine, we'll engage with our customers, right? And it's sort of like, I guess we have to. It's a new world. Other folks, like Adobe, are very forward-thinking. They're like, great, we'd love to engage with our customers. We want to give them tools. We want to give them the content. We actually want to hear their feedback because guess what? They're going to be more loyal. Give us ideas about new products. Tell us what they do and don't like. We want that talk. And so, you hit the nail on the head. It's really a customer engagement.
So how do you see translation services evolving in the next few years?
Well, there's debates about how many professional translators there are, and it's about, anywhere from 200 to 300,000. But we really see this explosion of content. Content's exploding at 50% a year. It's growing massively. The way to grow your market or grow your revenue and top line is to add more markets. We really see translations becoming more of a critical objective or tool for customers to grow. And so, with customers becoming more engaged in a community environment, having them be able to designate what they think is important, what content's important, as opposed to sort of that hierarchical commercial entity saying this is what's important, this is what we're going to give you. Customers are going to be able to say, partners are going to say, hey, this is what we want translated, this is what we need for our business, this is what we think is important. And so it's sort of power to the customer, power to the partner, power to the foreign markets, which just never happened. And so, part and parcel of that is really the translation of content and then designating that, having the tools to do that, to the consumers of that content. Right now it's been very separated. So now consumers of the content are going to have a larger and larger voice in what gets translated. And, content owners are really there to create that environment in which that can occur.
Sounds great. Rob, is there anything else you'd like the Daily Crowdsource to know about?
Come to our website, check us out. You can get a free 30-day demo. We'd love to have folks try us.
Thanks for talking with us, Rob.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.